We went to that factory, that company which was selling the businesses was one of the largest companies of one of the very large company of the world, multi-billion-dollar company called TI Automotive, having a business called Bundy India Limited. And they wanted to get out of their refrigerator business, and they were very keen to sell their business. Now the result of their selling this business would be, since they were single source to a company called Whirlpool, if they decided, because TI Automotive was a worldwide company, and if they decided to sell this, Whirlpool India would close operations. That was the implication at that time. Nevertheless, we wanted to see the factory. We saw the factory. The machines were rubbish. I would say worse than ours. Laddaji and I thought, well, very happy, let's go back home. Sooner than later, we were called by the CEO of that plant. And we were almost like ghiraud inside a room. And we were told, आपको तो ये खरीदना पड़ेगा. Well, we said, क्यों खरीदना पड़ेगा? He said, देखिए, we have to go out. You are one of the leading people who can take this and who know this technology. And you are the one of the people who we expect will be able to keep the Whirlpool's line running. Laddaji said, साहब ले लीजिए. ऐसे क्या बात कर रहे हो? अपने घूमने आए हैं, देखने आए हैं, देख लिए, चलो. अच्छा, he said, चलिए साहब से बात करते हैं. And we spoke to my father. And as always, my father said, अरे Whirlpool का business मिल रहा है, ले लो. And within the next 1 or 2 hours, we were in Whirlpool's office talking to them. They were giving us all kinds of offers because Whirlpool would close at that time. And the challenge given to us was, shift the factory from Gurgaon to Faridabad, put up a new fully automatic paint line, create the entire facilities over there, and to reach from 0 to 100 in 3 months. That means 100% supplies to be done in 3 months. Relocation of workers, if the workers were willing to relocate, training new workers, new line, everything new. What was the option? My father had already said that we have to do it, so we had to do it. Laddaji took up this challenge. I was working with him, and we did it. I still don't know how we did it, but we did it. In 3 months, we were single source to Whirlpool. Even today, we are single source to Whirlpool for that. And I must thank Mr. Ladda for his superb work done at that time. Today, we are not only single source to Whirlpool for condensers, but we are also single source to Whirlpool for roll-bond evaporators, the 2 most critical parts that go into a refrigerator. Next time you see a Whirlpool refrigerator, or even an LG refrigerator, or even a Godrej refrigerator, please remember us. Well, the story for the wheel assembly is also very interesting, friends. You know, I'm just trying to explain to you how opportunities kept coming and how we kept capitalizing on those opportunities to be what we are today. The story for the wheels goes like this, that when we were making the drums or the central part of a wheel in the die-cast component, one day Bajaj Auto people came to us and they said, Mr. Bagla, if you are making the wheels and you are making the drum and you are making the panel, we would like to have a product from you, full wheels coupled with a panel, so that we don't have imbalance inventory in our factory for the wheels and the panels. We said, okay, we will set up the plant for making the wheels. We started the assembly of the wheels. All the parts, other parts, child parts were being given by Bajaj Auto. Guess what? 1 year down the production, Bajaj Auto says, Bagla ji, अब तो आप व्हील समझ गए, अब आप व्हील रिम और स्पोक और निपल की भी प्लांट डाल लीजिए, सारे प्लांट पार्ट्स आप ही बनाइए. And as always, we set it out to do that job. What Hero Honda, would do with 7 vendors, we were doing alone. We were making the wheel rim, spoke, nipple, brake drum, brake panel, and assembling all of that together and supplying to Mr. Tripathi. That was the challenge that was given to us. And that is the story that went. But this is not the end of it. One day, again Bajaj Auto team came and visited us, and they saw that we were making the nipples, which was basically forging and plating operation. They said, Mr. Bagla, why don't you make fasteners for us? That is also a forging and plating operation with a little bit of heat treatment. Believe me, friends, the fastener factory came up. That is how the growth of the Bagla group has happened. One thing led to another, and another to the third, and so on and so forth. In the meantime, there was a lot of pressure on us to start some business which had nothing to do with Bajaj Auto, because Bajaj Auto was our single customer and we were making multiple products for a single customer. Everybody who would come to, boss, do this karo, boss, do this karo, boss, do this karo. Okay, so we started a factory making products which were not supplying to Bajaj Auto, which were making aluminum die casting parts, and we called it a business beyond Bajaj factory. That's the name that we gave, BBB. It was set up in a world-class fashion. Really very good infrastructure was put in place. One day, I received a call from a friend of mine, and he said that there is a company from Italy who is looking for a partner in India. Would you be interested in setting up a die casting plant in partnership with them? I said, sure, लेके आओ, वो भी करेंगे. So, in came the, जैसे होता है ना पहले के जमाने में, पहले वो नाई और ब्राह्मण जाके लड़की देख के आते थे, उसी प्रकार से OMR जो हमारे इटली के पार्टनर है उसके नाई और ब्राह्मण आए और हमारी फैक्ट्री देख के गए और हमारे फैक्ट्री को अप्रूव किया कि हाँ भाई ये मिस्टर बोनोमेती जो ओनर है OMR के, इट्स अ $multi-billion कंपनी इन यूरोप, वो आ सकते हैं और देख सकते हैं. So our factory was initially approved by them, and then my father went with Mr. Jalnapurkar. Mr. Jalnapurkar, you are there? I think I saw you somewhere. Ah, yeah, there you are. Am I right? Please correct me if I go wrong somewhere. Mr. Jalnapurkar went with my father to that factory called OMR. Both of them surveyed the factory. They liked the factory very much. Somehow, Mr. Bonometi, who had at one point of time not allowed a single person to enter his factory, including Suzuki Motors, including Rico Auto, including Mr. Firodia of Force Motors, allowed my father to see the factory. I later on came to know why. He said, Rishi, as your father entered the room, I felt my father is entering. Right, Mr. Jalnapurkar, is that correct? And the joint venture was signed in 10 minutes flat on a simple piece of paper, no letterhead, on a simple piece of paper. Mr. Jalnapurkar wrote, Mr. Bagla and Mr. Bonometi signed. That was the joint venture paper, and that is what finally was the joint venture paper with which we entered into a joint venture where OMR Italy invested into us. Friends, this is the story of opportunities, all opportunities coming, all opportunities being taken, and all opportunities being used for growth. But it is not that there have been no failures. There have been technology changes which has hit us. When we were making magnetos which were very good quality of then requirement. But when the demand changed, we could not live up to that requirement, and our magneto business became a small part of our business. When the wheel assembly moved from a conventional wheel to a alloy wheel, we could not compete with the Chinese, and we had to close the factory. It was not that our group was not faced with sufficient challenges at each step. It is not just a story of success all the time. Success and failure come hand in glove. Failure should always be a learning for future, and one should never be disappointed with failure if one wants to succeed. Friends, when I came to Aurangabad, the group was about 8 crores. Today, we are around 800 crores as a top line. This doesn't excite me much, because at the end of the day, these are numbers. I will share a real honest truth with you. When I came from Calcutta, मैंने भगवान को बोला, भगवान 1 लाख रुपया महीने का इनकम दे दे, घर का खर्च निकल जाएगा। भगवान ने दे दिया 1 लाख रुपया का खर्चा। फिर मैंने बोला, भगवान, उस समय 12% ब्याज चलता था, मैंने बोला, भगवान 1 करोड़ रुपया दे दे, बैंक में रख दूंगा, 12% ब्याज से 1 लाख रुपया महीने का पक्का हो जाएगा। वो भी भगवान ने दे दिया। तो ये जो सब चीजें, ये सब नंबर्स हैं। और शायद कुछ यहाँ पे लोग बैठे होंगे। एक दिन मैंने ये बात हमारे सारे सीनियर एग्जीक्यूटिव्स से शेयर किया, और मैंने उनको अपने कमरे में बुलाया और बोला कि देखो भाई, भगवान ने मेरे सपने तो पूरे कर दिए, अब आपके सपनों की बारी है। आप लोग सपना देखिए और बोलिए आप लोग क्या करना चाहते हैं। And I think Mr. Mali, Mr. Ladha, Mr. Jalnapurkar, Mr. Somani were all a part of that vision. Today, I live a dream that they gave to me. And these numbers are a dream of my team. Well, 8 to 800 crores. What happened? If I would have grown in a normal way, this is where it would have been if I would have been doing the routine and the daily management. This is how I would have grown. But then, I had a desire to take my company to the next level. And I wanted to work hard towards it. So what did I do? I started doing strategic management. Strategic management means, apart from doing some of the daily activities, I got involved into strategy forming, and that is how this 8 to 800 crores was achieved. What did I do